Balatro? Pfft, nah, I prefer boss lines. Yeah, you beautiful gambling addicts, you read that title right. I spent like 20 hours writing, rewriting, crying, and then attempting to beat a modded version of Balatro where every single blind is a boss. A few ground rules and some dancing fruit for retention, and then I'll jump into the run. First, I've banned all jokers and tags that change or disable boss blinds. Not because I was too lazy to properly code them in, no, absolutely not. I simply find it in bad taste to actually give Luchador a use case. Rule number 2, since I'm going to be playing on Anaglyph deck, to make this challenge actually challenging, I'm only going to be given a double tag after the final boss of the ante, rather than after every boss. Other than that though, boss completion rewards will remain the same. Finally, I'll be playing on Gold Stake because I'm not a disgusting loser, and I'll be resetting for a random seed because I'm still not a disgusting loser. Okay, enough words, let's jump in. The run started off very strong, with my first boss being the inconsequential Pillar, whose ability to debuff all 0 of my previously played cards stood no chance against a couple of straights. In the shop, I grabbed my the banana, which is a fantastic first joker, as it would most likely get me through at least 2 of the first antes, allowing me to pick up some extra cash from leftover hands. Or, no, I guess it'll destroy itself after the very first blind, that works too. Bananaless and getting dangerously close to ante 2, I grabbed a Temperance as a future investment, and then took a gamble on an Arcana pack. A gamble that definitely paid off after a Judgment gave me Card Sharp, a fantastic all-around joker with its 3x molt on duplicate hands. The Manacle was the final boss of Ante 1 and was swiftly defeated with a couple of 2 pairs. In the shop, knowing that Card Sharp would only get me so far, I grabbed Raised Fist for some guaranteed molt. The Water greeted me as I entered Ante 2, and without any discard, I opted to just play a few high card hands, knowing that Card Sharp would guarantee some high molt down the line. 3 hands later, and I was back to the shop. With only $2, I wasn't quite liquid enough to buy anything, and with only $5 worth of joker value, I didn't really want to sell off Temperance just yet. Oddly enough, I could afford to enter the next boss, the House, which, in this economy, is a feat of its own. Am I right, fellow Americans? Man, our economy is getting decimated, isn't it? Man, I'm laughing through my tears. High property value or not, a couple hands worth of 3 of a kinds repoed the house and took me back to the shop. Knowing this was the last shop of the ante, I ended up using my Temperance to buy the paintbrush voucher. A weird decision in the moment, but one that would definitely pay off in the long run. The next boss, the Goad, debuffed all my spade cards to no avail, with only 2 hands required to defeat it. A Hermit from an Arcana pack took me up to $14, and a Hanged Man brought me back down to $11. Since my only molt at the moment was coming from Raised Fist, destroying some low-scoring cards would be a great way to start shaping my deck for the higher antes. Or at least that's what I was thinking until I saw the Economy tag at the start of Ante 3. With 2 double tags already in hand, I'd be able to double it and give it to the next guy, also known as myself, 3 times. This would also allow me to get a full refund for my Hanged Man, which, in all honesty, wasn't going to do much anyways. $66 richer, I entered the Arm, crossing my fingers that I'd be able to make it to the next shop. With no upgraded hands, the scariest part about the Arm was its 6,400 score requirement, something my deck has yet to put up. A glorious 4 of a kind started the bout on the right foot, and although I wasn't able to take advantage of Card Sharp on my first turn, my very next draw gave me 2 sets of 3 of a kind. After playing both, another set of 7s secured the victory, taking me to the shop with almost $100. Shoot the Moon, one of my personal favorite jokers, was my first pickup, relieving Raised Fist from its duty as the only molt-generating joker. A few rerolls later, and I bought and then sold Diet Cola, replenishing some of my recently exhausted double tag stock. With Shoot the Moon, my strategy shifted to wanting as many cards in my hand as possible, something High Card excelled at. A Pluto was the first purchase towards this idea and the last purchase of the shop, well, excluding a few expensive rerolls. The Head was the final Ante 3 boss blind and would be a great opportunity for me to test out my new high card tech. Or, okay, nope, a great opportunity to test out my 3 of a kind strategy. Why I wasn't using my discards to hunt for queens is beyond me. Despite never drawing a single queen, I cleared the boss with a respectable 6,700 score and entered the most important shop of the run. I started out by grabbing an Arcana pack which showed me Chariot, allowing me to make one of my queens Steel. Unfortunately, Shoot the Moon and Steel cards trigger in the wrong order, with the 1.5x mult popping before the plus 13, but with some tactical card ordering, my deck was starting to take shape. Much more important than a lowly Steel card, however, was the very next joker in the shop, Mime. Not only would it retrigger Shoot the Moon and my newly acquired Steel card, it would also double the effect of Raised Fist. Things are about to get spicy. An immediate draw of my Steel Queen against the mouth allowed me to test out the capabilities of my new and improved setup. It was also a great opportunity to show off how genuinely bad I am at this game. For some reason, I don't use a single discard during the entire fight, and to make matters worse, when another queen finally does show up, I don't even reorder to have the Steel trigger last. Despite my incomprehensible gameplay, I came out unscathed and grabbed a Scholar from a Buffoon pack to round out my Joker roster. Not the best one to get, but at least it's not Luchador, am I right, guys? Of course I'm right, and I can't even hear you if you're saying otherwise, idiots. A few more rerolls, and then I finally realized what the next blind was. The wall. Now, in all honesty, I could probably have taken the boss down, but with a very nice lineup of jokers, I thought it'd be better not to take the risk. Not only would skipping the extra large blind allow my run to fight another day, it would also give me 3 copies of the investment tag, thanks to the genuinely busted ability of the Anaglyph deck. With $75 on the horizon, I entered the window. I finally snapped out of my manic episode and started actually playing like a human being again, using my discards to hunt for queens and playing a high card ace as often as I could. 3 aces later, and I was officially halfway through this nightmare. Also, oh my god, look at all that money! With $97 to my name, I grabbed a Pluto, taking high card to level 3, and then popped a Spectral pack, hoping for a red stamp to put on my Steel Queen. Instead, I got something almost as good, Trance, which with Mime would guarantee me 2 Pluto cards at the end of each combat, assuming the blue stamped queen was in my hand. A rare Celestial pack purchase showed me yet another Pluto, and a reroll voucher allowed me to put my money to good use. Or semi-good use, as it got me another Pluto, which is fine. With high card at level 5 now, Steel cards became my highest priority. Well, I guess highest behind replacing Scholar. The Serpent was the first boss of Ante 5, and okay, I'm gonna level with you guys. I just now realized that this boss is like definitely broken. Like, I discard 5 cards and then just draw 5 cards. To be totally honest though, if the boss actually worked, I'd just be able to discard or play 1 card, which would increase the chance of getting a queen in my hand anyways, so let's hit a nasty time lapse and pretend you didn't see this. Wow, what a tough boss, am I right, guys? Man, that modifier where I only drew 3 cards was rough. Thank goodness I'm so skilled at Balatro and that I'm also so hot and cool and funny and relatable, right guys, right? My narcissistic tendencies aside, the run was definitely coming together. An Arcana pack showed me a wheel from which I got just nothing. Another Celestial pack took high card to level 6, and then a gamble on a Judgment gave me a swift kick in the balls by replacing Scholar with Drawl Joker, which I definitely have been reading as Drool Joker up until literally right now. This disappointing shop continued to hand me L's with $30 more worth of rerolls with nothing in return. Kinda like my relationship with my ex. Are these jokes hitting, guys? I'm being relatable, right? Like, I mean, let me know if it's too funny and I can stop. The planet was the first boss I was actually scared of, and for good reason. If my queens were disabled, I would effectively have no form of molt generation, which would stop the run in its tracks. I begrudgingly grabbed 2 copies of the coupon tag and headed into the mark. This fight was actually way scarier than it needed to be. You wanna know why? Because I didn't use any discards again. I just kept playing bad card after bad card with a single queen in hand. I barely eked by with 52,000 points to the required 50,000. Man, I wish I had a time machine so I could go back in time and just tell myself to lock in. Or, I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe I'd go back to like April 20th, 1889, but hey, that's just me. My first of 2 free shops was disappointing to say the least. 2 kind of meh Eternal Jokers weren't really what I was looking for, and neither of the free Celestial packs had a Pluto in it. I was getting kinda rolled. As a last-ditch effort to fill my 5th Joker slot, I grabbed a perishable Onyx Agate, which in theory would give me... Ooh. Okay, never mind. Goodbye, Mr. Agate. It's been a pleasure. Your position has unfortunately been terminated, and you'll now be replaced with a dope-ass banana. Cavendish, the dope-ass banana in question, could not have come at a better time, as the Tooth, with its 120,000 score requirement and money-hungry ability, put me through the ringer. Raised Fist unfortunately required me to play a ton of extra cards to boost my base molt, and when all was said and done, I was sitting at negative $8. That coupon tag, however, from the previous Ante, although seeming useless at the time, actually came in clutch, as it allowed me to grab a Pluto and open a Jumbo Buffoon pack. And boy oh boy, what a beautiful Buffoon pack it was. The main issue with High Card is that its base chip count is really low compared to basically every other hand. Even after I upgraded it so many times, 65 chips just paled in comparison to the monstrous 250 that Stuntman would be dishing out. -2 hand size was a small price to pay, and with only a few queens in my deck anyways, I was happy to make the sacrifice. I sent Raised Fist to the big beautiful farm in the sky, and then made my final purchase of the shop, a 0-cost Jumbo Standard pack that gave me my first new card of the entire run, a Molt Queen. Into the wheel, where the true might of Stuntman was on full display. After a meager 30,000 point first hand, my card sharp took matters into his own hands, putting up almost 100,000 points with a single high card. My spoils finally took me out of debt, not quite enough to buy the Spectral pack in the shop though. The fish, Ante-6's boss's boss, was actually a little unlucky. I somehow managed to draw 4 of a kind of kings, which in a normal game would be awesome, but because I need to play high card to get card sharp popping was pretty annoying. All it took was a single queen in hand, however, to put the required score up, and as an added bonus, it was my blue stamp queen, letting me upgrade high card to level 9. On a whim in the shop, I grabbed a standard pack with the hopes of more queens and was delighted to see a red stamped Steel 5. Not a queen, but I'm definitely not complaining. The penultimate ante of the run started off with the Eye, a terrifying boss for my current build, as card sharp would be rendered useless, with its modifier preventing me from playing the same hand more than once. Knowing that my Stuntman also only had a few rounds of util left led me to skip the scary blind. It unfortunately burned both of my double tags, wasting them on top up, which with all 5 Joker slots full did absolutely nothing. I actually also ended up skipping the next blind, the Flint, as well. Knowing my Stuntman would only be useful in 3 more blinds meant that I'd really only be able to use it in 1 more non-required fight. If I could save that fight for when I had more money, the store would become much more useful. With this in mind, I headed into the last, and I guess also first blind of Ante 7, the Psychic. This one was actually pretty rough, as with only a 7-card hand, I'd really only be able to hang on to 2 queens every round. That becomes an even bigger problem if the 5 remaining cards are anything but high card, as stuff like Pair and 3 of a kind got outscaled by my fervorous Pluto usage a while back. This unfortunate combo became immediately apparent as, after burning a queen to get a high card hand, I was forced to play a lowly pair of 3s, giving me a meager 20,000 points. Well, actually maybe I was like overreacting about how scary this boss was, as I was somehow able to put up the entire boss's required score in a single hand. I don't know man, this game is weird. After finishing Ante 7 off with a pair, my blue stamped queen gave me 2 useless Mercury cards, which I immediately sold. Should I have used them? I don't know, maybe, but it's really about the principle at this point. Into the first shop of Ante 8, where I picked up the Wasteful voucher. An extra discard would absolutely come in handy, as it would let me discard an additional 5 cards while looking for queens. Now, some of you very attentive viewers might have taken notice of the final boss of the run and are probably thinking, that's not good. And your observation is duly noted, but I mean, since this run ended up on YouTube, it's probably fine. I mean, I doubt my future self would have uploaded a video if I don't actually beat the mod, right? Surely? Before we can get into that exciting climax, however, I still have 2 more blinds to get through. With Stuntman down to 2 triggers before being disabled, I knew I was going to have to skip either the Amber Acorn or the Cerulean Bell. Both bosses are fine, but I opted to skip the Acorn as its speed tag, combined with my double tag from the previous ante, would give me $60 that I could roll through in the final shop. An immediate draw of my steel queen was a great way to start the blind, and a very lucky draw of my red stamped steel 5 made quick work of the 400,000 score requirement. Time to make my final purchases of the run. I bought an Arcana pack and took the Emperor to give me Justice and a High Priestess, popped a Jumbo Standard pack which was full of garbage, rerolled a bunch of times and found exactly what I was looking for. A Chariot. Being able to guarantee a steel card in hand would hopefully be enough to counter the devastating ability of the boss. The Crimson Heart, which would disable one random joker every hand, was one of the worst possible bosses I could have encountered. If my Shoot the Moon or Mime got disabled, I'd have no base mold for Card Sharp and Cavendish to boost. If Stuntman got disabled, my chip count would be severely reduced, effectively quartering my max scoring potential. Without Cavendish or Card Sharp, I'd be crippling my mold. My only real chance was to cross my fingers that the boss would be disabling Card Sharp on turn 1, which would give me the opening I'd need to play one very important hand. And there it was, Card Sharp disabled and a queen in hand. I turned it steel with the Chariot and then upgraded High Card one final time thanks to the High Priestess. I had 3 discards to collect as many queens as I could. Discard 1, 2 queens. Discard 2, my red stamped steel 5. Discard 3. This was it. I played my high card Jack and held my breath. But, I mean, come on. You already know what